Good evening, colleagues. Today was an incredibly sad day when we began the morning in a circle, reflecting, talking about the very tragic news of finding the remains of more than 200 children at the site of a former Indian residential school in Kamloops. That moment again brought us to the point where we reflect all in every meeting and every day the place and the land where we are, which belongs to First Nations and our Métis ancestors, and we commit to reaffirming our respect and uh, friendship with each other. But today's news really brings us to a point of reflection where it is the solidarity, it is the support, it is standing together as community in this moment of grief. Therefore, I would like to start with a moment of silence, reflecting on the tragic loss of life of so many children, and praying for peace to the families that are suffering from this tragedy. Please join me in a moment of silence. Thank you. This evening is to celebrate the some of our outstanding scholars, and many of them do work with Indigenous communities as part of the commitment of the University of Saskatchewan in this area. And today we will, I get an opportunity to speak briefly about the contribution and the scholarship, scholarly contributions that each of them have made and are continuing to make in that area. So I will get to that in a moment. But before that, I would like to invite our president, Peter Stoicheff, to make his comments to the gathering this evening. Peter, over to you, please.
Oh, thank you very much. Thanks, Dr. Singh, and thank you all for joining on this really special day of celebration as we pay tribute to some of the remarkable researchers at the University of Saskatchewan. I'm Peter Stoicheff. I'm president of the university. I'm here today with my wife, Catherine Warden, special advisor on research profile and impact, and we're just so pleased to see such a wonderful turnout for this important event. I'm sorry that we're not meeting, of course, in person under the circumstances. The distinguished researchers and others would have been feted in various ways around convocation in person, but I really appreciate all the work that the organizers put into this virtual event. And in some ways, in a strange way, it's even more intimate. I see many people on the screen and then many names at the bottom of the screen that I'd love to recognize formally in front of all of you, but I don't have time to do so. But I really want to thank all of you for being here. And of course, I'm particularly here to acknowledge Julita. Congratulations on all the terrific work that you have been doing for so many years. Safa, Kerry, Stephen, Carrie, Pam Downe as well, everybody who is being recognized with these top research awards tonight. There's much to say about what you have achieved, and Dr. Singh is going to try to cover that at least in a thumbnail sketch sort of way. But I did want to say that the University of Saskatchewan is characterized by its research and discovery mission. If you go back to the beginnings of this university, it combined research with teaching, with community outreach. And what the community really benefited from was the extraordinary and groundbreaking research that went on here that we were able to bring out to the rest of the province in so many different ways. And although we've diversified our research over the intervening many decades, that spirit of doing research that's both fundamental and curiosity driven, as well as applicable and applicable to the people of this province and beyond has continued in a really strong way. I want to also thank you for working with graduate students, as you all do, for at the same time as you are excelling at research and discovery, teaching at the undergraduate level, doing all the other things, including administration tasks that the university asks of you. It's not easy to be an extraordinary researcher anywhere and at the university, but each of you in your own way has been able to achieve that. The other thing I want to point out is I thank the nominators for all the work that you have done in preparing the nominations of your terrific colleagues. And I take this as a sign that we are a community that is supporting each other. And each of the faculty members who is being acknowledged and celebrated this evening deserves that support. And I'm so grateful for the fact that the nominators took the time, the extensive time, to put together the kinds of packages that could accurately express the kind of work that you have done. And Darcy Marciniak, thank you very much for all your work bringing the committee together as well. Finally, although I don't have time to go through the breadth of the research, it's always meaningful to me to see that there's so many different kinds of research representing so many different kinds of disciplines at this extraordinary university. And I thank all of you and congratulate all of you on the tremendous research and discovery that you have done that has brought us here together. And thank you to the supporters, to the family members, to everybody else who's on this call today and who has in the background made it possible for you to do the terrific work that you've done. Thank you very much, Dr. Singh, and back to you.
Thank you very much, President Stoicheff, and thank you, Catherine, for joining us for this evening as well. Colleagues, I also want to add my welcome to all of you, the award winners, of course, and their families, friends, and the nominators, the professors and the other leaders on from our university, and the community members who have joined us for this evening to celebrate these outstanding scholars at the University of Saskatchewan. Over the last 4 months since arriving back at University of Saskatchewan, I have learned quite a lot about the brilliance of our scholars and the depth and the breadth of the contributions they make at the local and the national and the international levels. Your work is truly inspirational, and I feel as if there's a lot more wind in my sails every day because I learn every day a little bit more about the work that you all do. And I am humbled by the outstanding caliber that you all have. Because of your work, University of Saskatchewan is committed to being the university the world needs, because we are focusing our attention on some of the most intractable problems that confront humanity at the local and the global levels. And it is through the scholarship that you do that we are going to make some headway into finding solutions to those pressing artistic and scholarly and the research issues that we have in front of us. Today, my task is to speak briefly about each of the award recipients and then invite each one of you to take a few moments to speak to the gathering. And that is the plan for this evening. I would like to start with the New Researcher Award. This award is given to an individual who has displayed exemplary leadership in establishing an original research program. Someone who has begun to build an international reputation and who is already making significant contributions in their chosen field of scholarly work. The first recipient today I would like to introduce to you, of course, is Dr. Stephen Rayan. Stephen joined as an associate professor in the College of Arts and Science, and he arrived at University of Saskatchewan in 2016, so only 5 years ago. He currently is the founding director of the Center for Compute Quantum Topology and Applications. And Stephen has promised me that one of these days he will take me for a coffee and help me understand what quantum is. So that is going to happen. Stephen is an interdisciplinary leader, and he has collaborated with areas such as the Department of Music, where undergraduate students have done projects on mathematical modeling of the singing in some ways. Stephen is an expert on complex geometries and which are fundamental to our understanding of the quantum physics. He also works in the areas of the Higgs bundles and hypercolor geometry. Again, very interesting names for me to say, but I hope to understand those from him. Stephen is already recognized as a gifted mathematician who works at the intersection of the mathematics and physics. Stephen is focused on developing the area of quantum and how it will influence literally every walk of life in the coming years. He has been exceptionally successful in receiving funding from tri-council agencies, including New Frontiers in the Research Fund Award, which is given to high-risk areas of research. The success rate in this competition is less than 10%, which speaks volumes to Steve's excellence in this area of research. He has, of course, received funding from CFI to set up the lab, and Stephen has already been invited to deliver many talks around the globe, including at places like Caltech, Stanford, Harvard, Duke, Oxford, and various other institutions of repute. And so Stephen has emerged as a young scholar and a leader in this new area of science. He is an outstanding mentor to students, and he is going to put the quantum research at the forefront at University of Saskatchewan. Stephen, I'm truly humbled by your achievements in such a short period of time. And I'm so proud that you are doing this creative work at University of Saskatchewan to make the university that the world needs today. So please join me in congratulating Stephen on this particular honor to recognize his accomplishments. Stephen, I would like to invite you to speak to this gathering at this moment.
Thanks so much, Professor Singh. It's hard for me to find adequate words after President Stoicheff's inspiring address and your kind and very generous introduction for me. The way you just portrayed me, I hope I can live up to that. I'm very grateful for this award and the support it represents from this institution. And I'm so humbled to be here alongside the likes of Carrie, Julita, Safa, Pam, and Carrie. I'm honored to be with you, and I congratulate all of you on your many accomplishments. In my own case, I see this more as a win for quantum science at USask and the various units involved in this direction, including my home department of math and stats. So the result of a lot of teamwork, and I'm privileged to be part of the best team ever with Dr. Amy Stevens, my partner and quantum member who's here with me, to whom I'm eternally grateful for inspiration and wisdom. At the same time, this award could not have been earned without the many students I've worked with, to whom I'm immensely grateful as well. They're the true new researchers. There's also a common thread worth noting in tonight's awards, namely that we're all involved in interdisciplinary research. I thank the College of Arts and Science for the ideal conditions that have fueled my own interdisciplinary journey, and the university for recognizing interdisciplinary work in this way. Finally, I thank Chris, Andrea, Heather, and Tanya for putting together this fantastic event. It's great to be able to enjoy the company of family, friends, nominators, and supporters, find ways to connect virtually here on Treaty 6 territory despite the pandemic. And these generous gift baskets are downright amazing, by the way. Cheers.
Thank you very much, Stephen. Let's go to the second recipient for the New Researcher Award. That is Dr. Kerry McPhedran. Kerry is also an associate professor. He is in College of Engineering. He joined there in 2015. Kerry also holds Saskatchewan Centennial Enhancement Chair in the Water Stewardship in Indigenous Communities. That takes us to the point as to how our scholars make a difference to the communities through their impactful work. Dr. McPhedran, Kerry, is building a very strong research program with outstanding funding from a variety of entities and publication of research papers. But the story goes beyond that. He is focused on supply or delivering or creating of the supply chain for clean drinking water to our First Nations communities. That is the work which he does with a deep sense of humility and listening and forming strong relationships with the Indigenous communities within our province. Within the broader scheme of the water quality, he has projects which look at, for example, the presence of pathogens in the water. He looks at the presence of drug residues in the water. He looks at presence of various other contaminants in the water. So those are the research projects that affect the health of the communities within our city and also in the remote and the Indigenous communities within our province. The work that Carrie does cannot be done without the extensive collaboration he has built with other faculty members at the University of Saskatchewan. And it's remarkable when I was reading his dossier that most of his graduate students are actually co-supervised. That again speaks to the breadth of the interdisciplinarity that really permeates the work that Carrie does at University of Saskatchewan. Carrie's is a role model when it comes to engaging communities in a partnership. Quite often we know that the social science piece of the research quite often is left behind, but Carrie does put that at the front of the work that he does and truly creating an opportunity for University of Saskatchewan to serve the communities within our province. One of the nominators did write that Dr. McPhedran's is a superpower. Lies in his outstanding training of the students because he creates this opportunity where community also participates in the education of the graduate students who work with Dr. McPhedran. Kerry is known as an outstanding collaborator, and he is a very engaged and passionate researcher, and one of his colleagues noticed that Kerry is persistent and he has a commitment to the greater good when he does his scholarship. So he does take his scholarship out into the communities to make an impact and benefits the health of the communities. Kerry tries new ways of doing research and really is at the forefront of the application of the research that he does. Kerry, please do accept my warmest greetings on behalf of all the colleagues who have assembled here today and many other in the communities who are working with you to create a better life for everyone. Please join me in applauding Kerry's work. Now I would like to invite Kerry to speak to us, please.
Thanks so much, Baljit, and thanks to Chris and Andrea for arranging for this. I really want to thank the College of Engineering for putting forth my nomination, and I see Safa was also successful as well. I see Terry Fonstad was part of that, and I see he's in the guest list tonight, which is great. It all started, as having co-advisors in biology and engineering with Dr. Ken Droulard and Dr. Julita, who are my mentors and co-advision, and that's why many of my students are co-advised, and that's really an enjoyable experience for all of us. I'd like to thank my referees for the letters that they contributed. Obviously, they were very well written, and I'm humbled by them. One of them is here today, who's been my mentor, Nihar Biswas, for 20 years now. It's pretty amazing. And it's great to have him here because he's been a mentor for a very long time and a referee and a role model for me. Another mentor of mine here that I see in the chat is Leon Wagner, who's been a great department head in my department. But I echo what Stephen said. It's without the students in HQP, I wouldn't be here. I've had great partners, HQP collaborators at UWindsor, Alberta, and now here, and it's been working out very well. And partners, Indigenous partners, industrial partners, and it's all collaboration work. And even in response to the COVID epidemic, which I think was kind of instrumental in me getting the new researcher award, we came up when we needed to be here for wastewater. To me, that's a service. It's not a research. We're doing a service for the community with that work. And I like to see Dion and Darcy here as well, because and Peter as well, because we will be doing the COVID monitoring on campus as well. So it's really great, and I appreciate the award. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Kerry, for your remarks. Colleagues, let's go to the next category of the awards, which is the Distinguished Researcher Award. These awards there are 2 every year. These are presented to recognize the faculty who have demonstrated significant achievements and contributions to artistic, scholarly, and the research work within their disciplines and have attained global recognition and leadership in their chosen field of work. The first recipient that I would like to speak about and introduce to you today is Dr. Julita Vassileva. Julita is a professor in computer science, and she joined the University of Saskatchewan in 1997. She is a global leader when it comes to artificial intelligence and image processing, an area in which women are still very much underrepresented. To really become one of the top leading researchers in the world when there may not have been as many role models and the supporters is quite remarkable and speaks to the brilliance and the resiliency of Julita in building this program. Her program is driven very much by curiosity and passion to solve problems. And through that, Julita is also figuring out Internet of the Things and also ambient computing within the personalized learning environment. There were many things in the nomination that impressed the committee, leading to her selection for receiving this particular award. And one of them is her passion to advance women and minorities in this area of research and learning. Julita was the NSERC Chemico Chair for Women in Science and Engineering, which there are very few given every year, I believe 5. And she really advanced the work with women and underrepresented groups in the area of computer sciences. Julita launched a program which is now into 12th or 13th years of its existence, and that's an outreach program into the indigenous communities in the local and the remote settings. Through that program, we reached to about 2,000 indigenous youths in the province to engage them into considering future studies in the area of computer science. Julita gives back to the university community through her exceptional service on numerous committees, both at the college and at the university level. Julita's area of research has a practical impact through her joint work with colleagues like Gord McCullough and Jim Greer in the iHelp system that was deployed in our computer science to support peer help in our large undergraduate classes, just therefore advancing the use of the computers in the learning environment and making the learning experience of the undergraduate students better, for which the University of Saskatchewan is passionately proud of. Julita has been praised as a highly sought after collaborator, and she is an exceptional supervisor and a mentor. And I would like to say that in one of the letters that we received, a student said, "Dr. Vassileva gave me wings to fly and a shoulder to climb on and stand tall." Amazing. And she has been a great advocate for diversity on our campus. And again, I would say another letter which I can't top, that she both a star researcher and a star supervisor who have impacted numerous lives and our society tremendously through her work. So this continues to speak to the theme and all the award winners, our service to the society, making our communities better through our engagement with them and the scholarship that we do within our area. So Julita, on behalf of the University of Saskatchewan and our colleagues here today, I congratulate you on your remarkable and really outstanding career and many great things still to come. and we are so proud of that. Please join me in applauding our colleague Julita. Now I would like to invite Julita to make her remarks to us.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'm deeply, deeply honored. And I'm thinking how much luck is there in everything and how lucky I was to come to Canada. This is the country with the best research climate in the world, with NSERC, of course, and to join the University of Saskatchewan, which supported me all the way for 20 years, the university and the College of Arts and Science, my college. As a UFA, as a chair for women in science and engineering, and as a researcher, everywhere I have met only support and people coming out and lending a hand and a shoulder. So I was blessed from the beginning. I had great colleagues, Jim Greer and Gord McCullough, who actually brought me here. They brought me to the Areas Lab, which back then, 20 years ago, was one of the top 5 places in the world to do research in AI and education. I'm also very grateful for my current colleagues, Chanchal Roy, who thought I was nomination worthy, and to Kevin, who actually nominated me, and to Regan Mandrick, who supported my writing of various proposals on many occasions. I'm grateful also to my master's and PhD students. I've had many of all nationalities, and they have all brought new ideas, have actually done the work, for which I'm awarded now here. So special thanks to my Nigerian students. I've had a great cohort of students, Rita, Kiemute, Ifioma, Fidelia, Hamid, great group of students. And finally, a big thank you to Ralph, my partner in this Canadian adventure for 25 years, has been by my side and always managed to make me laugh. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so very much. Thank you. One theme I'm starting to notice is deep sense of humility and humbleness in our colleagues who are being recognized today. Again, something to aspire to and be inspired by. Thank you very much. Allow me to speak about Dr. Safa Kasap, who is also the recipient of the Distinguished Researcher Award this year. He is a distinguished professor and a Saskatchewan Centennial Enhancement Chairholder in College of Engineering. And he is being recognized for an exceptional career, which he began in 1986 at University of Saskatchewan. His career has been that of an academic, professional engineer, and a leading innovator in the area of electronic and optoelectronic materials and devices. Dr. Kasap has held a Tier 1 Canada research chair. He has brought in millions of dollars. He has trained a large number of students, but allow me to give you an example of the impactful innovation that he did. He is credited with the discovery of amorphous selenium material, which is used now in more than 80% of the mammography equipment worldwide. This particular technology has resulted in the early detection of the breast cancer among women, reduced the X-ray exposure to them during their treatment and diagnostics, and has resulted in saving many lives by reducing the death associated with this particular clinical condition in women. Think about the global impact of his discovery and innovation has had on women's health across the globe. Dr. Kasap has published more than 350 papers. Again, out of that, one of the paper was selected as a milestone paper by the International Society of Optical Engineering. And that particular paper concerned with the characterization of the semiconductor materials and was included in the milestone publication of that particular society. These societies around the globe, there are 14 of them that have elected Dr. Kasap as a fellow, and the University of London in the UK honored him with a Doctor of Science degree in 1996. Dr. Kasap has also received Career Achievement Awards from IEEE, which is the professional body of the electrical and electronics engineers. He received a medal from the society, which is given to an outstanding educator, and he also delivered a named lectureship from IEEE to recognize his long-standing global leadership and the contributions that Dr. Kasap has made to this area. Safa, your career has been remarkable, and you are the most deserving of this particular award. Please do accept my warmest greetings and congratulations on this particular award that you have received. These congratulations I offer you on behalf of the University of Saskatchewan and all the colleagues who have assembled here today. Colleagues, join me in applauding Dr. Kasap. Safa, may I invite you to please speak to this gathering today?
Yes, I assume you can hear me now, Doctor. I assume you can hear me? Good. Okay, so everything is working. I'm sorry about the early trouble we had. Anyway, just to get back to the program, I'm highly honored. I'm really highly honored because this is my 35th year. I joined in 1986, and at the time there was not as much emphasis on research, but there was a lot of research going on, and I saw some very good people here doing excellent research, and I said, yes, this is an excellent place. And I've never regretted being at this university and being in Saskatoon. I think it's a great place. So a few things I like to say. If you've got a sabbatical coming up, make sure you make good use of it, because my research really took off when I had my sabbatical in 1997 at the Sunnybrook Hospital at the University of Toronto, working with some of the best people in the area of X-ray detectors. And it allowed me to focus in an area and really expand my research. So sabbaticals are extremely important, and make sure you make good use of it. That's what I would say to all the new faculty joining the University of Saskatchewan. It's an important time to dedicate your effort to research. So I'm highly honored, and of course I'm grateful to my graduate students, my postdoctoral research fellows and research associates, but I'm also very grateful to my long-standing colleague, Dr. John Rowlands he's retired now, at Sunnybrook Hospital at the University of Toronto, and my sponsoring company, which is a Canadian company based in Montreal. It was originally ANRAD. It's now Analogic Canada. As you know, companies change names. And that work started almost 30 years ago. It developed, and eventually led to a commercial product. It's impossible to do any work like this without collaborators and having industrial support. So I'm very grateful to my collaborators, all my graduate students and HQP, and to Analogic Canada for actually sponsoring this research. And they've got the device in the market. As Dr. Singh says, it has high sensitivity, very high resolution. But I'm afraid I have to correct you. It doesn't actually reduce the dose too much, hardly any actually, but it is very sensitive. And you can use it in something called tomosynthesis. So thank you to all my colleagues and my nominators, and to the university committee members who decided to choose me. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Kasap, really, thank you. And that idea about doing the sabbaticals very carefully, that opens up totally new areas quite often. Thank you very much. Let's go to the third category of the awards this evening, and Publicly Engaged Scholarship Team Award. This is a new award created at the University of Saskatchewan, and it's presented annually to faculty members, postdoctoral or graduate students, and our community partners to recognize the collaborative effort to combine their knowledge and produce an outstanding social impact. locally, nationally, or internationally. So this speaks to the aspirations of University of Saskatchewan, which grew along with the province starting more than 100 years ago. As President Stoicheff did mention, the community engagement piece has always been part of the DNA of this academy. Dr. Carrie Bourassa is the first one I would speak about. Dr. Carrie Bourassa and her team are the recipients of this award this year. Dr. Bourassa, Kerry, joined Faculty of Community Health and Epidemiology in 2018. She is recognized as one of Canada's foremost leaders in the field of Indigenous health, and she is highly sought after for her expertise in Indigenous health and community-engaged research and scholarship. She is a powerful advocate for necessity of community-engaged Indigenous health research and better health for all the communities, whether they're marginalized or do not have equity in health research and the delivery of the health care to them. She has a profound record locally, nationally, and internationally, and her work has been led by her engagement and her listening to and taking direction from the communities that she has served. Again, truly a role model for us, in the way to set up the good way to work with the communities. Dr. Bourassa has more than 20 years of research in the area of Indigenous health, and that scholarship has had enormous impact on the well-being of the communities and finding good ways of working with the communities. Dr. Bourassa's team has, as I said, really engaged the communities across the breadth and the depth of the work that is done. She has also provided leadership to the Canadian Institutes of Health Research's Institute of Indigenous Peoples' Health, which is a national body that funds research when it comes to Indigenous people's health. She is credited with the creation and launching of the national network environments of the Indigenous health research, which we house at University of Saskatchewan as well. And she has been part of the COVID-19 task force, and you may have heard her recently talking about the vaccine hesitancy or vaccine delivery in the communities. And she was also recently appointed to the Saskatchewan Health Quality Council Board and the National Research Council of Canada Advisory Board. So she serves in various capacities at the local and the national and the international levels. And sometimes I always wonder how she finds the time to do all that. Of course, her biggest impact is, and her team's impact is working with the communities, improving the health outcomes and really looking at the determinants of the health within the Indigenous communities. She has been PI on CFI grants that funded the Morning Star Lodge, as well as the CFI funded cultural safety evaluation training at the research lab. And as one of the nominators did write, speak to Dr. Bourassa's peers, look to her for guidance on how to navigate and become an ally for Indigenous health research. This speaks highly to her leadership and the regard in which her peers hold her when it comes to working with the Indigenous communities. Carrie is known for valuing relationships and the works to ensure reciprocal and relevant and meaningful relationships when she works with the communities, and her letters of support for the nomination do speak to that. Dr. Bourassa, I truly admire your leadership and the work that you do, and in the way to teaching many of us in the better ways of engaging with our Indigenous communities so that we can work together and make life better for everyone. Colleagues, please join me in congratulating and applauding Kerry's scholarship and recognition of that scholarship today with the Distinguished Researcher Award from University of Saskatchewan. Now I would like to invite Kerry to speak to us, please.
Miigwech, it's quite an honor, but it's really the community's honor that I have the honor to be able to work and serve communities. This is about the team. I really want to thank everybody, and I want to congratulate all of the award winners. The work that you're doing is incredible. I want to thank my husband, who's sitting beside me. I think it's one of the first times that he's been able to do that for a long time, and he holds the family down, and I just want to thank him. But I also really have to thank the communities that teach us the reciprocity. We're here to serve them, and it's an incredible honor. And we try to do the best work that we can to serve communities, and especially on a day like today, the week that we've had, the communities that are grieving, and so we do our best. We do our best to serve the communities as much as we possibly can. I also want to thank Chris and Heather and Andrea and everybody that made this possible. And of course, everybody who wrote letters of support. I honestly had no idea that this was happening until it did. And I want to thank the elders who hold us up and put us into ceremony, even in COVID-19. I just can't thank you and thank all of you enough. Sometimes my name gets mentioned a lot, but this is not about me. It is about the work that has to get done, and that it has to get done in a good way, always and in every time and in every moment. And I know many of you took the time today to come and to write the letters of support. And the reason why these kinds of awards are important is to shine the light, and to share these very, very important teams that work hard every single day. And so, I just want to let you know how important all of you are. And I want to thank you also, Dr. Singh, and the whole entire team at the University of Saskatchewan. Chimigwich.
Thank you very much, Dr. Bourassa, and thank you to your husband for joining and holding the family down. That's great. So thank you very much. The next scholar I would speak about is Dr. Pamela Downe. Pamela is a professor in College of Arts and Science, and she joined University of Saskatchewan in 1994. I'm going to start by reading or saying few things which were in her letters of nomination. Some words, so I'm trying to create some variation here, the way I'm talking about our colleagues. And so there are some words, authentic. She has real respect for us. She is so gifted and brilliant, but so incredibly down to earth that it's easy to forget she's from the ivory tower. And she builds genuine relationships. Again, the theme of building relationships in a good way with the communities that we serve really permeates the nominations of all the scholars that we have spoken about today. Her nominators say that we are actually presenting a formidable team for consideration for this award, which exemplifies everything this award stands for. The nominators talk about the partnership between the Prairie Harm Reduction, which was formerly AIDS Saskatoon, and Dr. Pamela Downe and her students. They say it's a case study and best practice for community-engaged research. And the partnership has sustained for more than 15 years because of the respectful partnership, the way Dr. Downe or Pamela has built. She has a very active research program improving the quality of life and health of marginalized populations, including Indigenous peoples who have been impacted by the residential school experience, women in sex trade, people who are living with HIV and AIDS, and those living with addictions. Think about the marginalized group that I just mentioned, and Pam focuses on improving their quality of their life. She has been instrumental in the first safe consumption site in Saskatchewan, and in 2019 received Canadian Aboriginal AIDS Network Harm Reduction Holistic Wellness Promotion Award as well for the sociological impact of the work that she does. She is an ethnographer, which means that relationships are at the core of everything she does. And one of the nominators again says that her engagement in face-to-face research in drop-in centers, clinics, coffee shops, cornfields, swamps, back alleys, homes, wherever the participant wishes, speaks to the determination and the passion that Dr. Downe brings to her work. She has received many awards from Canadian anthropology societies. I want to touch upon one another piece which the nominators spoke about, that she is community to the classroom initiative, which is a perfect example of her approach to engaged research pedagogy and the teacher scholar model, which we practice at University of Saskatchewan. In 2015, Prairie Harm Reduction sought PAM's help to untangle a complex of disorganized boxes of documents and which were collected over many years. Recognizing the burden that placed upon the service organizations in a university town by researchers and practicum students, the team flipped the process. PAM and the PHR staff hauled the documents to the ethnography lab on campus, and they analyzed and they designed totally different set of guidelines going forward. I would like to say that she has also taken community-engaged research in Botswana, Mexico, Costa Rica, El Salvador, and other countries, again magnifying Canada's commitment to betterment of health in various other places around the globe. She is someone who takes the time to build relationships, trust, and reciprocity with a sense of humility, and her mentorship of the students is outstanding. Dr. Downe, I thank you for your dedication and your service to the communities through publicly engaged research, and especially those who are extremely marginalized within our societies for a variety of reasons, socioeconomic, their health, and just the issues like addiction and so forth. And I admire you for your passion and commitment to carrying out this work over such a long period of time. Colleagues, please join me in celebrating the work that Dr. Downe does, along with her community partners and students and a large team that she has, and really making the University of Saskatchewan the university the world needs. Now, I would like to invite Dr. Downe to speak to this gathering.
Thank you so much. Thank you to the OBPR for organizing this event. Congratulations to all the award recipients. I just feel like I'm the one who doesn't belong here. You're all so brilliant. I want to thank the university for establishing this award and recognizing the importance of public engagement in all of its dimensions. Thank you to everyone who organized, supported, submitted this nomination. I am so flattered by your support. A big shout out to my primary nominator, Dr. Angela Levers. You are the best colleague and friend anyone could have. This is a team's award, as Carrie noted, and I have less than a minute to thank the teams who are involved here, so please forgive me for my brevity. Of course, first and most importantly is the team from Prairie Harm Reduction, formerly AIDS Saskatoon. They are the co-recipient of this award. This is our award, not mine. We have been a team for over 15 years, as Dr. Singh has mentioned, dozens of staff, hundreds of people who access the services, as well as students and fellow researchers have given me the honor of their time, participation, collaboration. The current executive director is Jason Mercredi. He's here with us tonight, and I owe him, as well as former executive director Nicole White, who I believe is also here, my enduring thanks for their leadership and support. I have said this to them privately, but now I get to say it publicly, that Jason, Nicole, you are role models for my proudly Indigenous grandchildren, and I'm so very thankful for that. Secondly, I have an amazing team of women who I have worked with for years. The key team members are here tonight. Each is so much more deserving of this award than I am. Karen Lawson, Sylvia Abney, Susan Tupper, and of course Angela Levers again, and those who couldn't join us tonight include Alison Murray. Third, the Department of Archaeology and Anthropology is the best place in the university to work. We are a collegial, engaged, and supportive department that works in full partnership with Indigenous communities around the world. I'm so honored to be a part of this department, and I thank Clint Westman for his current leadership as head. And fourth, finally, my home team. My sister Catherine is here tonight, my brother-in-law Doug, and of course, my husband Jim. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Pam. Thank you very much. Colleagues, that brings to the end to recognizing, speaking about, and hearing from 6 of the outstanding scholars that work at our academy, and you saw and heard how their work makes an impact on how they work with the communities to make it better for everyone, how they mentor students, how they engage their colleagues around them to engage in interdisciplinary work. It truly is an inspirational piece for me to be at University of Saskatchewan, to be seeing the work that my colleagues do, and along with our President Peter Stoicheff, really feel inspired every day that this university truly is going to deliver on its aspiration as a university that the world needs. At this point, I'm going to I congratulate all of you once again. Before I invite my colleague, Dr. Darcy Marciniuk, he had the difficult task of chairing a committee and looking through all these outstanding nominations and selecting the award recipients for this year. Darcy, over to you, please.
Well, thank you, Baljit, and thank you to everyone for being with us here today. I serve as Associate Vice President Research at the University of Saskatchewan, and also pleased to serve as Chair of the university's new and Distinguished Researcher Award Selection Committee, as well as the Publicly Engaged Scholarship Team Award Selection Committee. I do want to share some insights about this year's process, but we'll begin by offering a big congratulations to our award recipients. I have chaired many award selection committees here at the university and elsewhere, and can honestly say this year's submissions were deeply impressive. Not only did we receive a high number of nominations for these awards, but the quality of the nominations and the researchers and teams they spoke to were unparalleled. Our selection committee members spent countless hours reviewing nominations and quite a few hours deliberating who was most deserving. To put it in perspective, selection committee members each reviewed nearly 900 pages of documentation for the awards this year. This number speaks to both the number of strong applications received, but also to the dedication and commitment of nominators. And thank you to you to put forward individuals and teams for consideration. The most common question voiced by committee members was, how are we supposed to select only 2 award recipients? But they did. And on behalf of my colleagues on the selection committees, congratulations to each of the recipients. You and your work are shining examples, brightly shining, of how the University of Saskatchewan is the university the world needs, and I might add Saskatoon and Saskatchewan as well. I am proud and honored to be a colleague, and on behalf of my colleagues, thank you so much for that. Now, next steps. We will extend this event by 15 minutes. So you will shortly be moved into smaller breakout rooms where we will celebrate our award recipients alongside their nominators and invited guests. In a moment, Christopher Martin will activate a feature that will shift us into smaller breakout rooms. There will be about a 30-second delay, and you will appear in these other rooms. You will have an opportunity to speak with one another, and then around 7:10, we will return to the main room for closing remarks. Christopher will now do some magic.
We need to do something with these pauses, somebody to sing a song or play an instrument. Thank you very much, colleagues. It was quite a joyful opportunity to go from one virtual room to the other one. Chris, thank you very much for all the transportation you have been doing for me over the last many weeks now. Really appreciate that. So I guess with these closing remarks, again, I want to congratulate all the recipients, their graduate students, their teams. I know it is not recognition of a person, it is the recognition of a program and a community of the scholars they have built around them. That's what the story is all about. These great things are accomplished only through partnerships which are developed in a good way, in a meaningful way, and that's what sustains them over a long period of time. In a province like Saskatchewan, in a university like University of Saskatchewan, that I think in many ways is the only way to work and work and make our contributions. We are so good at collaborating with each other. We are so good at working with each other. And that is what really stands apart. It makes University of Saskatchewan stand apart from many other institutions that we all have experienced with. So on behalf of, again, President Stoicheff and all of my colleagues in OBPR and everybody who has assembled here, please accept my deepest congratulations and best wishes for your ongoing scholarship. And I want to acknowledge the work that has been done by the committee that did the adjudication and the nominators who did write the nominations, and my colleagues in the research office, Chris, Martin, Tonia, Andrea, and Heather, and everybody else who has really done an outstanding job. Many of you were talking about the way this program has been so well organized and so well done. So I really thank them and congratulate them for doing an outstanding job. To me, this is the highlight of being your Vice President Research, to be able to celebrate your scholarship and to put myself at your service every day to see what is it I can do to support you in the work that you do. And that is the commitment I believe our president has, our provost has, and it is such a joyful thing to be working in collaboration with VP Academic and Provost with a singular motive of supporting our learners, our scholars, our artists, our scientists in everything they do. So colleagues, I wish you all a very happy evening. And I look forward to seeing you in person with my bike tours around the campus or standing in line at the biology Tim Hortons. I want to say one last thing to congratulate the department heads, deans, vice deans, and associate deans in the colleges who work tirelessly to create the environment for our scholars to flourish and do the things that they do. With these words, I wish you all a good evening and thank you very much for attending today.
Congratulations, all our award winners. Congratulations.
Bye-bye.
Congratulations, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Well done, everybody.
Congratulations,
Bye-bye.
everyone.
Congratulations. Have a good
Bye.
evening.
Bye. Thanks for coming, everybody. Bye.